everybody. Welcome to episode 127 of the Big Red Barrelcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Pac-Man Polar Bear, coming to you from Canada, joined by my man Dave down in Texas,
host of the Big Bad Booty Shaking Extravaganza podcast, I guess, since we're just tripping up the name.
And
boom,
I love booty. And joined by our good friend Kev over across the pond. Oh God, I can't speak today. Over across the pond, where there may be booty. I don't know.
There's a lot of booty. I've been playing nothing but The Witcher 3 for a week, so there's been a lot of booty about.
Yeah. The Witcher is great for that.
I finally got around to putting more than an hour into it, and you know what? That game's phenomenal.
I should have
got to it sooner.
It's so good. It's just if you have all the DLC installed, it's just there's so much of it.
I know. That's why I never got around to it before, because I was afraid of. But you know what? One nice thing about having a motorcycle accident and having to be stuck on the sofa for a while is I got to sit down and play some long games that I would never otherwise get to. Yeah. So The Witcher and
Kev,
Dragon Age.
You're more daring since you quit your job, I've noticed. Have you noticed that, Pac-Man? He's like, oh, I'll go a boat.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I just went and bought myself a speedboat and a motorcycle, and I don't really know how to take care of a speedboat. And I obviously can't ride a motorcycle that well.
Well, in the language of everyone who has talked to me family-wise, I'm in the middle of a midlife crisis right now.
Are you old enough for a midlife crisis?
That's what I keep saying.
That means I'm about to have one. And oh God, is it going to be bloody?
Everyone there is in a midlife crisis because of Brexit.
That's true, yeah.
Brexit.
You know
Brexit.
What? Trump's the president of America. Get it in while you can. That's what I say.
Yeah, true.
That doesn't even make sense for you two, but okay.
Oh, man.
But before we start, we do have to say rest in peace, Bill Paxton, the only man in cinematic history to be killed by the Terminator, Predator, and Xenomorph from Alien.
Yeah. R.I.P. Hudson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Game over, man!
Yeah, you got it. Man, that's been getting a lot of juice since he's passed.
Dude, he was great. And then, what is it? Not Total Recall. True Lies? He was awesome in True Lies.
Yeah. Almost every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie he ever did a cameo in is just amazing. Yeah,
he was in Commando for like half a second.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. He was in Commando. I'd forgotten that. Holy crap. Now, he's great. I really dislike that almost all of the sort of the big press ones are like, most well known for Titanic and Twister. And I'm like, no, Twister, yeah.
I'll give him Twister.
Titanic, no.
He was Burley in the Titanic.
Yeah, it's just like why is Titanic the other one? Like Twister makes sense.
Why does nobody recognize the greatness of Weird Science?
Right?
Oh man, Weird Science. Man, we're old.
You stood, Budwad.
Oh man, hardcore 80s there.
Hell yeah, man! I used to love Weird Science as a kid, man. I watched that monthly.
Every young boy watched that movie in the 80s. Being
an 8-year-old boy discovering sex for the first time and being able to like live in this dream where you can build your own woman in a computer.
Yeah,
that was so good.
Yeah, that movie would so not fly right now.
No,
oh my God, no. Anyway, yeah, R.I.P. to Bill Paxton. You know, as we record this, we're recording on the 27th of February, so Switch is coming up. But before we get into talking about the Switch, we're going to talk about some of the games that came out since the last time we recorded. So first up on the list, I don't think it's dropped. I think it drops tomorrow as we record this, but Horizon Zero Dawn, all the reviews are out, and they're all pretty great. You know, people are singing its praises, so it looks like it actually lived up to the hype.
You can always tell Sony's pretty confident about a new release when they give it to reviewers about a week or two in advance and just issue them as many copies as they ask for.
Right?
Yep.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it looks...
How didn't people get 1886, like, 3 days after it came out or something?
Yeah.
I think maybe day of, but it was a pretty bad one.
It was embargoed to the day of, yeah. But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn I'm definitely looking forward to getting it. I can't get it because I didn't cancel my Switch pre-order, so I don't have any extra cash.
Dun, dun, dun.
But you know what's? Don't, for the love of God, read the reviews from the reviewers you trust, and listen to your buddies when they get it, and if you want to hear if it's good or not. But for the love of God, don't don't read the comment sections under some of those reviews. They're just, oh my god, they're like,
or for
what?
any first party game, in fact.
Well, it's just like, oh, there's this weird thing. They're like, oh, you know, because they didn't make her look like a supermodel. You know, like if you look at her face and everything, like there's this video that's, I don't know, a month or so old where they're showing how like this section was all super glitched up with placeholder audio in it, and like her body and face looking all like fucked up, and they're like, oh look, they screwed it up, which was was placeholder audio, and B was from a build that's, I think, was actually 3 months old at the time they showed it, and it got lots of traction. So the final product looks nothing like this ridiculous video that went around. But even so, the fact that she doesn't look like a supermodel is like pissing people off. They're like, oh, you know, why'd they have to make her look ugly? And there's just all this commentary on how she looks, and no commentary from half those people about the game. And it's just
that makes a change. Video games never bring those people out.
Oh my! It's just, it's just tiring. It's just tiring.
Yeah.
Like, I can only talk about video games with my select group of friends. Like, I don't want to just talk in a you know, like an echo chamber. I do kind of like talking to the public, but the minute you talk about any video game in the public right now, it's like, oh, you kind of have to wear a flak vest and like a gas mask and just sort of wade through the crap.
Yeah.
But are you guys going to pick it up?
Eventually.
Yeah, I'm not in any. This is not one I'm rushing to pick up, especially since I've been laid off for the last couple of months. But I'm about to get a job, and I had to pre-order that Mass Effect game that's coming out. And you might have heard of it.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I'm on student funds at the moment. So
student. First of all, Kev, you can't keep saying that. You keep buying not cheap stuff.
I did when I had a lot of money. Still, that's not the case anymore.
Well, duh. So, that's how that works.
That's how it works.
Hey, I had money.
It's going to be a pretty good summer for me once my next student loan comes through, but until then, I'm very, very
That's
tight
not how
on video
student
games.
loans work. Oh, shit.
It actually weirdly is with this one, because it comes at the very end of the academic year, when there's only like 3 weeks of university left.
I get you.
So it's more to cover you over the summer.
True. Next up on the list, we've got Torment, Tides of Numenera. And it's so good. I've had this game for a month, but the NDA I had to sign for this was ridiculous. It was like, you know, like a lot of the NDAs nowadays you can sort of digitally sign and agree to. With this one, oh no. I had to print that thing out, sign it, scan it, and send it back to them. And it was like, I don't even know, I want to say like 6 pages. And it was like comprehensive.
I've never had one of those.
Anyways, but I had it for a full month because they're like, we want you to be able to play through the whole game more than once just to see how it all plays out differently. And it's the spiritual successor to Planescape Torment, which came out in 1999, and is a really beloved old school CRPG that's was really, really good with the story. The original had pretty terrible combat, but it had, if the combat in Planescape Torment had been better, it would have been a contender right against Baldur's Gate for the best CRPG of, you know, the 90s of that era.
It was always said that if you wanted great story, you play Planescape Torment. If you wanted great combat, you play Icewind Dale. And Baldur's Gate is a nice sort of fall in between those two.
Well, Baldur's Gate had great writing and great combat. It wasn't the best writing, it wasn't the best combat, but it really hit all the marks, and that's what made Baldur's Gate sort of the standout staple of the old school CRPG age.
So for combat.
Well, that's the thing. So, Torment Tides of Numenera is 90% story and dialogue and reading, and 10% combat. There's absolutely no filler combat. You know how, like, in almost all CRPGs and RPGs in general, you know, you kill some spiders and you kill some fodder enemies and you sort of grind a bit and level up. There's absolutely 100% none of that in this game. Every fight is a set piece, and I beat the game in 47 hours, and I probably had 20 fights. Yeah. It's, you know, if you're looking for combat, this isn't the game for you. It's
that
all
does
about
turn
the
me
story.
off a little bit.
It's all about the story. I mean, the writing is ridiculous. That's
entering like a 47-hour Telltale game territory.
Really, I mean, really, it's very much. It is much more in terms of just what you're going to be doing. I mean, there's a beautiful, lush world. There's lots of powers and stuff that affect conversations and quests, and you can interact with objects and stuff. But really, you're going to be reading a lot. I think there's like 1.5 million words or something in the game total. And the writing's fantastic. It's every bit as good as Planescape Torment was, if not better. It's fantastic, and it's a dark sci-fi RPG with more than a little bit of horror elements to it. There's a lot of sort of Lovecraftian horror elements to the game. Some of the lighter stuff some of the lighter funny stuff is almost sort of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. With a little Isaac Asimov for the hard sci-fi stuff. It's really, 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 really good. But if you don't like reading, there's no way you'll enjoy that game. Yeah, I mean,
how does it compare to Pillars?
Well, that's one of the things about it is it's built using the same tech that they use to build Pillars. So visually, the engine, it's very similar, looking wise, but
yeah.
It's got it doesn't have this. It has a completely different combat system and stat system than Planescape Torment did, and the stats and the abilities and everything is completely unique. There's nothing the same between Pillars or the original game or anything else for that matter. It's a completely unique setup, and the combat and the powers and everything is great. But you use them so rarely that it's only till the end. You don't really get a chance. In like other games, you can sort of mess around and kill like low level enemies, and that sort of teaches you how to use the combat. You so rarely fight in this game that you don't really appreciate any of the abilities and things you can do to the end of the game when you finally fought enough times. There's some really great since every fight is a set piece, so every fight you do affects the story in a significant way. So it's satisfying that way. But you don't really have
learning the combat systems in these games and getting good at them is like a big part of the loop for me. That's why I really like Divinity Original Sin so much, and why I'll probably leave this one out, honestly, and just wait around for Original Sin 2 to get its final release.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much. Well, I mean, that's the same token. The original Planescape, no one played Planescape for the combat.
No,
Planescape had some of the worst combat of all time. It was,
but I never got on with Planescape either, really.
Oh, Planescape's combat
even back
was just,
then I had an issue with it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone played Planescape for the story, and this is exactly what you're playing this one for, is for the story. And I feel bad for whoever's editing my review, because if anyone's ever read any of my reviews of video games, especially RPGs,
it's a roller coaster ride. Whee!
Well, no, this one's almost completely positive. My only real complaint against it was I wish there was more. I don't want a ton more combat. Just I wish it was spread out a little bit more evenly across the campaign to break up the huge segments of reading. But there's tons of choices and a lot of replayability, and I gotta say this, it's got a great ending. It's got 15 or so great endings, actually.
That's good, because a lot of games don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure how many endings, but there's a bunch, and like some of them are the same, some of them are drastically different, and there's some really, really great characters. What else came out? For Honor dropped.
I will say quickly, it is a bit of a funny ongoing joke in the BRB editing staff that whenever Pac-Man or I do one of our very rare reviews, they do have to kind of call in overtime on the editing because we both wrote massive reviews.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure my review for Torment comes in at about 3,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I put some pictures and trailers in there too.
I remember when we started the site, we always said like reviews should be like somewhere between 800 and 1,000, just as a general guideline. And then I don't think I've ever handed something in that's less than 2,000 words.
Yeah. And this game's really weird. Like, it's really, really, really weird. Like, it's super strange. Like, it's metaphysical evil and horror and all sorts of stuff. It's super strange. What else came out? For Honor dropped, and a lot of my friends are playing it. people are pretty happy with it.
Seems so.
You know, it's different enough that, you know, it's found an audience. You know, it's got that sort of real sort of sword. It's almost, you know, it's like a fighting game in a third-person setup, and, you know, you can gang up on people, but you can also duel one-on-one against people. It looks cool. I don't know if I don't have the cash to pick it up right away, but it's definitely going on my list.
Yeah, same. I've heard a lot of comparisons to like Bushido Blade, which gets me very interested indeed. Obviously, it's not like one-hit kills, but that level of strategic sword play I'm down for that.
Yeah. What about you, Dave? You looking to get For Honor?
There's just so much coming out, like especially in the very near future, that I'm interested in, and also, you know, I have to sit here and hoard my money so I can make fun of you and your Switch purchase. But
you got a wedding to sort out as well.
There's that too. Weddings are, oh my gosh, weddings are not cheap.
Yeah.
It's like, oh hey, everybody wants money, and I'm like, awesome, that's cool.
Yeah.
Especially when you're the breadwinner and you're unemployed.
Yeah. Thank God you got a job, dude.
Yep.
My wedding's
tomorrow,
in a month,
woo!
and I'm so glad that it's all paid for at this point. You want to talk about part of the reason I'm broke?
Yeah. What else we got? Neo dropped. Did we talk about? We talked about the, you know, playing the.
We talked about.
You were like,
we talked about the beta.
Go play the demo because it's the greatest thing you'll ever do with your life.
Yeah. We talked about the demo. So the final game came out and people love it. It's, you know, it's grabbed the old school Ninja Gaiden fans, and it seems like it's grabbed a lot of the you know, the Dark Souls crowd too.
Yep. And
that's a really happy medium. They actually made that work. Now, again, I want this game, but I got other games on the list too, and I'm still, you know, putting salve on my wounds from the demo. I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ready to just die that much in a game right now.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Because it's rough. I watch some of the people playing it online, and I'm just like, oh my god, I am nowhere near that good.
Yeah. It's I don't think there's any question. I mean, I haven't played the full game, but just going off the demo that we played and other people who I greatly respect their opinions on these kinds of games, it sounds very much like this is far harder than any Souls game has ever been. So if those games are too difficult for you, probably avoid Neo.
Yeah. What else dropped? Halo Wars 2 dropped. It got solid reviews. The reviews are really funny because you can tell who's a predominantly console reviewer, and they're much more lenient. They're like, yeah, you know, it's one of the best, you know, strategy games for the console, which is a nothing statement. But they're like, you know, if you like Halo and you like and you want an intro into the you know RTS scene, you know, it's not so bad. But if you go read like strategy PC RTS reviewers, and they're like, yeah, this is like Kinder Surprise, baby's first RTS, just like the first one was.
It's a video game, all right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, you know. If you grew up playing hardcore RTSs all your life, playing Halo Wars 2 feels very amateurish. It looks visually, it looks awesome, and if you got, you know, an Xbox One or even a PC and you want to play something with a controller and just sort of kick back and have sort of a, you know, a casual RTS, you know, enjoyment, you're going to have fun with it. So people are being pretty nice to it, but
so
it's not high on my list.
Speaking as someone, I know you're in the same boat, who plays StarCraft on hard because you don't like having time between key presses. This probably isn't a game for us.
Oh yeah, it feels super slow. Well, not slow, but like sloppy. Like I'm used to being able to like hyper click and like just, you know, like I'm used to, like, you know, looking at like my APM all the time. It's like,
yeah, totally. I literally get uncomfortable in RTS games if I have like a 5 seconds gap where I haven't done something.
Yeah. What else came out? Sniper Elite 4, which, you know, has always been a sort of mid-tier, sort of B-movie kind of franchise. But this one got really good reviews, and people are calling it the best in the series so far. And of course, you know, it's always got the whole, you want to kill some Nazis? Let's kill some Nazis.
Who doesn't like killing Nazis? The only experience I have with the series is when they put out that Nazi zombie trilogy or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only experience. I asked for it one year for Christmas, and my sister got it for me for the wrong console, and that was and I went back to swap it out for another one, but they didn't have it for my the console I had at the time, so I just had to take like a gift card.
Lame.
Oh, I remember you talking about that.
It was before I got my PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But if you like sniping and you like being around an open world, I think this one's set in Italy.
Yes.
You can shoot a guy through his balls with a sniper rifle, and he's a Nazi, so he deserves it. So go shoot some Nazi balls.
And you get to watch those testicles explode.
Yep. What else we got in here? So the D.I.C.E Awards just went down.
You skipped the Ghost Recon Wildlands open beta.
Sorry. Ghost Recon's Wildlands beta dropped. It'll probably have just finished by the time you hear this podcast. I jumped into it for a little while. Dave, I know you did. What'd you think?
I actually liked it. It feels like Just Cause 2 and Far Cry had a baby. And also a little bit of the Division sprinkled in there, but not as like high-techy.
That helicopter is glitched as fuck!
Oh, yeah. Oh, I pride myself on my ability to fly helicopters in video games. Like GTA, like in Battlefield, you want me to fly that chopper. You need me in that chopper.
Yeah.
You want me to get up there and kick some ass. In this, it's like, holy crap, this is the hardest helicopter I've ever had to fly. Like, it's like, it's like, you should just be able to push forward on the stick, just even if it's just slightly, and just go forward. No. It's like, instantly the nose is going to dip and you're going to start to dive. And it's like, this sucks.
I want to get you on the original Operation Flashpoint and see how you do with those helicopters.
I don't think I've played... No, I played, like, the Red Dragon Rising or whatever, like the second one.
Yeah. Oh, it's not only that, but that helicopter, like, straight up glitches all the fucking time. Like, sometimes it just, like, teleports, like, super high into the air or just, like, explodes. It's all over the place. Like, it's a good thing that was a beta, because I ran into lots and lots of bugs. People clipping through walls, vehicles sort of like smashing into each other, like weird stuff was happening in that beta.
I got the impression that this is only a beta in terms of testing server load, and the game itself is kind of feature complete now.
Man,
if it is, they're missing it. There's going to be a huge day one update.
Well, it comes out in like 3 weeks, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's going to be a pretty massive day one patch. There's gotta be.
Yeah,
because there was a lot of stuff that was just wrong.
Yeah, it was hella fun. It's hella fun. If you got a couple boys to log on and just run as a crew, once they stop throwing grenades at each other, it's really great.
I mean,
I'm not sure how much fun it is when you're by yourself, because you're just running around with like a squad of just AI guys, but. Yeah, when I played it, I actually found it to be pretty fun. I mean, it takes the driving in it is ridiculous. It's not like GTA where you're just going to fly around town because then you're going to kill yourself. But I mean, I had fun. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy it day one, but my interest was definitely piqued. I just need to make sure they fix all those problems that they had.
There are a few statements that give me the jollies, quite like Dave saying it's like Just Cause plus Far Cry.
Yeah,
that sounds like the perfect parental union to me.
Well, it's a large open world with not quite the blow stuff up that you have in Just Cause, but you and kind of like in Far Cry, like you go up to a little hut or whatever, or a little base, and like you plot around. It's like you can run in all sneakily, or you can just run in guns blazing. It's really up to you. And then it has like that slight GTA. It's like, oh no, we went in on these guys and they're pissed off. They are going to come after us till our wanted level's gone and stuff like that. So
what I want them to prove is that they can have moments like this. I played a lot of Far Cry 4 in co-op with a friend, and I remember we were sneaking up on this outpost. And I was like, all right, I'm going to stay in the bushes here. You travel around to the left there and try and take him from that side. And the next thing I see is this f***ing dude on an elephant just going into this base. And I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake. And that's what I want in this game, is like the ability to be able to do that.
That kind of happens all the time.
Yeah. Except there are no animal attacks, though.
Yeah. But it's Ubisoft, so they're going to f***ing shit the bed in some way, shape, or form. They're just incapable of not.
Like, if they can just give you enough missions to do to keep... I mean, even if it's just like a single-player offering, I think it'll be fun. And unlike The Division, where it's like once you ran out of like the 18 or so missions, you were just done. Yeah. But it seems pretty interesting. They just have a few things they need to fix.
Yeah, The Division. Poor Division.
Yeah, I liked it. It's just you ran out of content, and then you were just like, okay, what are we doing now? Oh, we're going back and redoing.
And by the
old
time
missions. Hey, it worked for Destiny. It should work for us, right? Nope.
Yeah, by the time they fixed it, no one gave a
Yeah.
So the D.I.C.E Awards went down. There's a lot of them are kind of obvious. So Overwatch won Game of the Year, Action Game of the Year, Outstanding Achievement in Game Design, and Outstanding Achievement in Online Gameplay. All Overwatch, which is good because Overwatch deserved to win all those, and it arguably owned 2016. Inside, which I haven't played, but a lot of people have sung its praises, won art direction, game direction, and it won the Sprite Award, which is good for an indie. That's a good achievement. Uncharted 4 won Adventure Game of the Year. No big surprise there. Technical achievement, achievement in story, and animation. Which Uncharted 4 again. It's hard to argue that it didn't deserve any of those. Pokemon Sun and Moon won Handheld Game of the Year. That's not surprising. Pokemon is like crazy popular. Strategy Game of the Year went to Civ 6 over XCOM 2, which is bull.
Did XCOM come out this year? I thought it came out last year, and then they re-released it this year.
No, it was a February release, I think.
It came out just after Christmas and the New Year. But XCOM 2 is better than Civ 6. I don't give a
well, I don't know. I like them both equally.
I'm going
to be that guy.
Don't.
You never got around to playing Civ 6, did you?
Oh, I do. I got it.
Oh, you got it in the end, did you? Okay.
Yeah. But I played. I got all the different victories, and then I stopped playing because I'm just like a Civ game until they have an AI that's worth fighting against is just nah. What else do we got here? Steep won Sports Game of the Year, which is good. Apparently, Steep got a lot better once they started adding content and new stuff to it in a couple big patches. It wasn't really up. Sports games aren't really always that great. They're really hit or miss, so it's not that big an achievement.
NBA 2K usually takes that category every year, so they really must have crapped the bed last year.
Yeah. RPG / massively multiplayer game of the year went to Dark Souls 3. Can't argue with that. Deserved it. Forza 3 winning racing game of the year is hilarious because there was only one other game up against it, and it was Drive Club VR.
What, man?
So wait. Didn't Project
Turbo
Cars come out this
last
year?
What's that?
Didn't Project Cars come out this year, or was that last year?
No,
I
think
year.
It was. And also Trackmania Turbo came out, and
but there was only two games nominated for Racing Game of the Year, and it was Forza 3 and Drive Club VR. So
that's why these awards. Well, look, I mean, the next category says all you need to know about the nominees and who shouldn't deserve winning.
Yeah, Fighting Game of the Year went to Street Fighter V.
The unfinished game that came out.
I don't even care if it was the best game. There's no way in the hell I'd ever vote for Street Fighter V or any Street Fighter. No. I would vote for Pokken Tournament over Street Fighter V, and I fucking hate that game too. But Street Fighter V won. Blah. Family Game of the Year went to Ratchet and Clank. Can't argue with that.
No, that's fair.
Immersive reality game, which I guess is their way of saying VR, went to Super Hot VR, which I guess VR is a pretty non-existent genre right now anyway.
But they made a freaking category for it just in case. I'm pretty sure Sony and them had a little to do with that. Hey, you really need to make one because it's going to happen. We're going to support this for about a year till everybody buys one, and then we're going to stop it. You can get rid of it.
Yeah. Sound design went to Battlefield 1, which is their only win, but
that seems kind of a shame.
It was up against stiff competition in the other categories it was competing in, but you can't argue that like the sound design in Battlefield 1 isn't incrable. Like
that's what Battlefield games are known for if they're made by D.I.C.E.
Totally.
Like, they always have great sound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I remember, what was it, like Battlefield 3, I think it was. Like you could, like just the machine gun, I was like, wow. And then you can hear the shell casings hitting the floor. It's awesome.
Yeah. Best original music composition went to Doom. Doom's got some great music.
Yep.
outstanding achievement in character went to The Last Guardian's Trico beating out Uncharted and Firewatch, which is
absolute rubbish.
Which is some bull. Mobile game of the year went to Pokemon Go, but mobile games are junk. So Pokemon Go can win that without any complaints. And immersive reality technical achievement went to Eagle Flight, which I've never played or even looked at. So I guess it deserved to win. Eagle Flight? I don't know.
That's that Assassin's Creed-y thing, isn't it? Where you're a bird that flies over the Assassin's Creed cities. It was a Ubisoft joint.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I can't get over the fact that they had to give The Last Guardian something, so they did. Yeah. That seems like garbage. Garbage.
Yeah, beating out Uncharted and Firewatch? Bullshit. So Nintendo Switch drops next week. I didn't cancel my pre-order. I even pre-ordered a Pro controller. Which turned out to be a smart decision, since the first bit of news about the Nintendo Switch.
Wait. That means we have to introduce the segment. It's time for the Switch!
And when the Switch goes on, I feel like another person. I feel like a truck, like a machine.
Switch it up.
Well, so the Joy-Con controllers, those two little slidey controllers that you can attach to the handheld section itself, or you can hold in your hands, or you can attach to the Joy Grip. Apparently, when you have them separated from the console, they desync.
Awesome.
So lots and lots of reviewers are saying, I'm trying to use the Joy-Con controllers, and they keep desyncing on me.
Does Nintendo say just use your phone?
Nintendo isn't saying they're like, we're looking into it, even though
Kev got the joke.
Zing on your phone. So Nintendo's like, we're looking into it, even though the console drops next week, and we're the ones who sent you all those reference things to review before the launch. Anyway, it doesn't matter to me, because I will never be using the Joy-Con controllers, because I don't have any intention of carrying it around with me. I already have handhelds. It's going to be sitting in the dock, and I'm going to be using the Pro controller like a grown-up.
Yeah, sounds like the way to go. So
you're getting the Switch, and you're not even going to take the Switch on the road?
Fuck no.
Pac-Man never goes on the road.
I mean, it's not like you can stream movies or anything through it.
No. So the Joy-Con controller is having a desync issue. Whether or not that can be be fixed via firmware, or if that's just a hardware problem that they didn't catch, who knows? What we do know is that not all Switch games will even support the TV mode. So some Switch games will only be available in the handheld version.
That's insane.
Which is ridiculous.
This seems like a big oversight on Nintendo's part. I mean, there have been many during this process.
It looks like in this case that's gonna apply to the fact that it looks like they're gonna be porting over a ton of tablet games.
This is classic.
Won't really work.
Well, I know, but there's a thing out there, a device, if you will, that would allow you to play mobile games on your TV. And one Tim the Mutt Timothy Hibbs has one, and he liked to show it off a lot. It's called an Ouya,
and it was awful.
Zing.
But you could still play. You can still play mobile games on your TV. Nintendo can't do that. This console's butt kiss.
It's not really the mobile games. It's specifically the tablet games. Where you're going to have to.
It'll be for touch-based games.
Touch-based games. But just the fact that it looks like that's going to be part of their push. Bringing over a whole bunch of tablet games to be played on their, which arguably is their tablet, is. I have a feeling that they're going to use that to flesh out their roster over the year.
Well, yeah. If you haven't, how many games did we decide they had in their launch window? Was it 12?
That are worth playing in the first 3 months, like three, I think, and a whole bunch of games.
I just said they're biggins. The ones that are like, we're going to have this.
Well, no, that is the big ones. Maybe 3 or 4 big games, and a whole bunch of games that are already out, and a bunch of games that no one's going to buy.
This console's making Kev's Wii U purchase look amazing.
I know, right? Every day it gets better.
So the Joy-Con controllers have a desync issue. There isn't going to be. It looks like some games won't support TV mode, and there's going to be no Virtual Console for the Nintendo Switch at launch. None. And you can't use the eStore until you download the patch and link all your accounts and things like that on the day one as well. Zelda Breath of the Wild is getting a $20 season pass. However, it's going to have 2 pieces of content. However, you can't buy those pieces of content separately. You have to buy the season pass if you want either of those pieces of content. And the first piece of content is just a trials mode and hard mode. So you're basically paying half that money is going to get to unlock the hard mode of the game and to run some trials, which is
I think I speak for everyone when I say f*** that.
Yeah, that's stupid. So the second half of that DLC, which is the only reason to buy the DLC, it isn't going to drop until this coming Christmas 2017. So that's a hell of a long way away, and that's going to add a new dungeon and a whole new story. And
they just seem determined to punish people for buying this console.
Yeah.
Is it masochistic if you like to get beaten up, or is it sadistic if you like to get beaten up?
It's masochistic.
Yeah, Pac-Man, I think you might be a bit of a masochist if you're removing your pre-order of this lovely console with all these features and just, user friendliness, and they seem to really care about the consumer.
Well, I still want into the ecosystem, and I don't know. I'll probably regret it, but it's not like I haven't done that before. But yeah, paying half that money for a trials mode and a hard mode, which itself won't drop until the summer, is ridiculous.
You just wait until fall holiday season, and then buy the season pass at probably reduced price.
Yeah, probably. And the last bit of Nintendo Switch news, and the only piece of actually positive Nintendo Switch news, is the Nintendo Switch can connect the Nintendo Switch can connect 10 consoles together via
docked consoles. You got to say docked consoles.
Well, yeah, 10 docked consoles via wired LAN, and 8 consoles can connect together via wireless. So that's pretty cool. So that means you actually can, link a whole bunch of them together, have a LAN party, or do an esports event and have them all linked together in a nice coherent system. And you can even do it wirelessly. If you have a bunch of your buddies, you can all just point your switches at each other and play wirelessly, which is dope. That's actually really impressive.
I don't want to speak too soon on my opinions regarding how this is going to sell, but I highly doubt that I will ever be in a room with 7 other people who also own a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Well, don't you mean 9 other people?
Well, it depends.
Or not. I mean, even 7.
Even 7.
I don't think I'll be able to go to Eurogamer Expo and be in a massive room with 7 other people.
Hey, I know there are like Nintendo DS meetups where people meet up and play their DS. So obviously the nerds have got to get together and do stuff.
Yeah, but that's the DS.
That was a well-established good console.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, it remains to be seen if that'll ever actually happen for the Switch. I mean, everyone right now is hoping that this is going to be like a 3DS thing, because the 3DS had a dog shit first year and it came around, and everyone's just sort of hoping that that's what's going to happen again. In general news, Games of Gold on Xbox for March 2017 is Layers of Fear and Evolve for Xbox One, so nothing really good there. Borderlands 2, however, and Heavy Weapon are going to be available on 360, and both of those games are backwards compatible on the Xbox One. So Borderlands 2, that's not a bad game.
I actually got a message from a buddy of mine the other day. He was like, Evolve's going to come free next month. Finally, my waiting has paid off.
Yeah. To be fair, though, Borderlands 2, I mean, almost all the Borderlands games have been given out for free on a lot of services multiple times. So if you're one of the few people who hasn't gotten Borderlands 2, you've got Borderlands 2 coming to you for free if you've got an Xbox Live subscriction.
It's called not Vanilla Destiny.
Yeah. Next up, this is dope news. The PlayStation 4 Pro's Boost mode, which is currently in beta to select people who got into the test environment. Digital Foundry got their hands on it, and they ran it through its paces on a whole bunch of games and a whole bunch of different setups. And basically, Boost mode is affects all the older PS4 games that didn't get a dedicated PS4 Pro patch. And basically, almost across the board, there's a noticeable boost in frame rate. So if you want your PS4 to increase the frame rate of your old PS4 games, it will. It also affects texture loading and has some other smaller improvements. But Digital Foundry has this great breakdown where they show all the noticeable improvements on old PS4 games. And on just about 95% of all the games they tested, there's a noticeable bump in frame rate and improvements almost across the board on all the old PS4 games. So now your PlayStation 4 Pro actually does make your old PS4 games run better than they originally did. So, and that's going to be, free to everyone once that patch goes live, which is dope. I'm really, really happy about that. Like, now there's a significant noticeable difference between having a PS4 Pro and a PS4 playing all the old games. And you don't have to pay anything for it, which is good. You have to buy a Pro, but other than that, no one has to copy.
Besides dropping them mad cash on their Pro.
Yeah, and the Pro's been getting some really great bundles and sales over the last month or two. So you can probably get a Pro in some sort of bundle or some sort of sale, probably again before the end of the summer, before the summer drops. Next
but there's still really no reason to get it though, unless you're PS4 bricks or something. Or if you don't have one already.
Well, I mean, now you do. I mean, now it will make your games run faster and better and run and look better. Like, that's dope. That's like a noticeable, tangible benefit, and not a small one.
But is it really worth all that though? Like buying another one, porting all your crap over.
Well, it's not like porting your crap over some terrible chore.
It takes time.
Yeah,
I just think most people who care about all of that have probably already got a PC.
Well, I mean,
here we go, Kev, with his PC Master Race stuff.
Well, there's basically it also fixes some of the PS4 games that were really pushing the hardware that they were struggling to even hold the 30 FPS. Like now, buttery smooth.
You're saying we're going to get more than 20 frames a second in Just Cause 3?
Yes. Sure as not going to get 60
golden
though.
Age.
PlayStation Now is dropping Vita, PS3, PlayStation TV, which I can't believe is even still a thing, smart TVs, and Sony Blu-ray players. So the only place you'll be able to use PlayStation Now pretty soon will be on the PS4 and PC, and it works great on the PC. It's actually pretty sweet. But it'll just be PS4 and PC only. Kind of sucks because I did use it every now and then on my PlayStation Vita, and I would think that there's still enough people using the PlayStation 3 to make it worth it, but obviously there weren't enough people taking advantage of the service on PS3 for it to be worth it for them. But still, PlayStation Now just never really took off the way I think they wanted it to. Especially because
they charged a ridiculous amount of money for it.
Yeah, and their library just isn't growing at the rate it's supposed to. Sony has a massive back catalog, and they've been slow as balls to add stuff to it. Like, they've got thousands of games they could be putting on that, and it's got a pretty big roster now, but nowhere near what it should be, and it doesn't have anywhere near enough heavy hitters to make people jump the gun.
Speaking of them dragging their feet, this reminds me of a funny story about a comic book service that Sony used to have that never made it to Canada.
That service came went before it even got to Canada. It was out for 2 years. 2 years, the whole time, that entire 2 years, they're like, it's coming to Canada, and then they ended the service and it never even came here. The only thing we were allowed to download the app, and we were allowed to have the free tester comics. I think we're like, Transformers and a couple other ones, and that was it, and then it left. I was like, God damn it. And then they removed the app, so I couldn't use it to read other comics that I got from other places. I'm like, God, son of a bitch. Anyway, that's Nintendo and their peripheral support for you. This is some good news because we were all.
You mean Sony?
What's that?
You mean Sony? You said Nintendo.
Oh, it's Nintendo. Yeah, I'm already foreshadowing my regret.
Oh, I thought it was just because you couldn't say something bad about PlayStation, so you had to put Nintendo in there to finish the sentence.
I love PlayStation, but they can't support a peripheral to save their goddamn life.
Nope. That's why David's not partaking in this next thing we're about to talk about.
You're not buying Shadows of Mordor?
The next one, PlayStation VR.
Oh yeah, so PlayStation VR it has sold 915,000 units since October, so that's well ahead of what they projected. So they were hoping to sell a million units in their first 6 months. So they're already on track to do that and then some before that 6 months is up. And so, and arguably, it's the fastest selling VR setup out of all the different ones that you could buy. Arguably because it's the cheapest one and it had the built-in gamer base. Now, how many people are still playing with their PlayStation VR that they bought? Not very many.
Do you think Sony actually cares about that?
No.
If they're making money off of every VR unit they sell, they don't care.
No,
it's kind of like when it's like, oh hey, how many Vitas did we sell? Enough. All right, let's stop doing things for it. Hey, did we sell the Move? Or did we make some money off the Move? Yes. Okay, cool. Let's stop doing stuff for that. Hey, Wonder Book. All right, now we're done.
Yeah, no, I mean we're still at least 2 years out from the first quote unquote multi-hour AAA game for VR. Like at least 2 years before we see one or two of those. And
you think they won't be pimping the hell out of that at E3 this year?
What's that?
You think they won't be pimping the hell out of the VR this year at E3?
They'll mention it, but it won't be. They won't mention it
because if they have any games, they'll just be more 1 hour, half hour glorified tech demos and short experience things. And PlayStation, like VR as a gaming, like a hard gaming, system seller and big money property, won't happen until they have AAA games that provide you with more than an hour or two of content, and they're years away from that. Like everyone,
they'll bring up Resident Evil 7, which is a full AAA game with hours worth of content. That's done fairly well for them, as far as I can tell. People really like Resi 7 in VR.
Yeah, but you can also, but a lot of people are also own Resident Evil 7 just without VR. Like I'm talking about I'm talking about like a VR game, not a great game that also has VR mode. Like straight up VR game is years out.
I don't know if anyone's going to risk it.
I think that technology will eventually be really good and have its place. I don't think we're there yet. I think we're still a few years out. Like by the time the really big AAA games are available for VR, you'll probably have to buy a new VR headset because there'll be new models of that to take advantage of those games because they'll probably demand even more from the systems that are already out.
So you're thinking about the VR Pro?
Yeah, probably, and there'll probably be a new Samsung Gear by then, and there'll probably be a new Oculus Rift, and there'll probably, if Sony sticks with it, there'll probably be a new version of the PlayStation VR. By the time those really big games are out, you'll have to get a new headset anyway, and by that time, probably the only console that'll be able to run them is the Scorpio, because it'll probably be the only one with the real juice to make it worth it. Otherwise, it'll only be on PC, which isn't enough to carry an entirely new piece of technology.
Let's wait and see on the Scorpio.
Yeah. We still don't know what Microsoft's going to be doing there. But this is good news because we all love this game. We were all pleasantly surprised by how great this game actually was, and so the fact that it got a sequel is pretty dope. So, Shadows of Mordor, the sequel, which is called Middle-earth: Shadow of War, is apparently going to drop August 22nd. It leaked on Target's international website, and then today they dropped an official trailer for it. It looks dope. Sauron is back. The main character, who's like half man, half wraith, forges a new ring of power. It's got an improved nemesis system. The first one was so great. It was just sheer fun to play. It was so fun to play. I can't wait for this. It was so
good. A lot of people say that the best thing about that game was the Nemesis system, and that's the reason it stood out. But for me, I think even without the Nemesis system, that game was phenomenal. Like one of the best games released that year.
I mean, it really lacked difference. It had a really repetitive environment and repetitive enemies to fight, but it worked. It was fun, and the combat was great. The pacing on it was cool. I liked the open world aspect to it. This one apparently has multiple environments. I mean, this one has a much bigger budget than the first one because they weren't really expecting the first one to be as successful as it was. I think they were hoping it would be good, but they weren't really expecting it to be like a hit.
I don't think they were expecting Game of the Year awards, but then that just tells you everything you need to know about 2013 in video games.
Yeah. Next up on the list, because we were speaking of Pillars of Eternity earlier, Pillars of Eternity 2 was crowdfunding on Fig, which is like Kickstarter, only you can back the game or you can be an investor and actually make money on the game if it sells well. So it finished its crowdfunding campaign on Fig, raised $4.4 million, and $2.25 million of that came from people directly investing in that game, meaning if the game turns a profit down the road, they'll actually see a return on their money. And I'm pretty sure you had to invest $1,000. It was the minimum investment, so that's pretty good. Almost $2.5 million just from investments, with people like betting that game's going to make some cash, and it probably will. Pillars of Eternity 1 was fantastic.
I think it's a safe bet with that one, yeah.
That's a pretty safe bet, and it's the most successful crowdfunded game since 2015, and it's the most successful crowdfunded game on Fig to date, even though Fig's only been around since the beginning of 2015 itself. But that's impressive. I'm really looking forward to Pillars of Eternity 2. And this one, they're going Assassin's Creed Sailor style. So this one is based on an island chain in Deadfire. So in this one, instead of having a stronghold that you can upgrade and customize, this time your stronghold's actually a ship that you can go around an open world, go island to island. You can upgrade your ship, you can customize your ship. Your companions retreat to the ship when they're not in your party. It sounds really cool.
Yeah,
anything with pirate ships and stuff like that, I'm down. Yeah. Next up, we've got Overwatch just driving their fan base nuts, because everyone was so sure Doomfist was going to be the new character that was going to be added to the roster in Overwatch, and then they dropped this comic interview that had this character called Ify Oladad. Oladil? I'm not sure. Which we're not sure if she's actually going to be the new character, or some of the wording in the little comic what seemed like maybe she was creating the new character, like she's like an AI computer genius. So maybe she's the creator of the new character that's going to appear. Maybe she created Doomfist. Who knows?
Maybe she is Doomfist.
Maybe she is Doomfist.
So you're going to say like her superpower is she becomes Doomfist?
Oh, I have no idea.
Like her power-up or whatever it is you want to call it?
Well,
her special?
People are a little weirded out because it looks, at least in that interview of her character, she's only 11 years old. So I don't know if they're going to put a little kid into a game full of shooting and mayhem. So we're not, or maybe she'll be older when we actually play her in the game. So maybe it's Doomfist, maybe it's Ify. Maybe Ify creates a new character and it's neither of those characters. Or maybe she will appear in the game, but she'll be in some crazy robotic suit, so it won't be so it won't just be you running and gunning and shooting an 11-year-old. Anyway, and I'm not even going to get into the fact that she's a black character from an African nation, and the comments that were written about her. It was just stop it, people. Good God. And if you're shipping this character, shame on you. Anyway, but who knows what Blizzard's next character is? They've already said that they have 2 or 3 characters already in, pretty far into development to be added to the roster. So whatever it is, they're all cool. All of Overwatch's characters are cool, with the exception of Bastion. F you, Bastion.
Why are you hating on the robot, man?
Oh, even with the latest patch, just no. You're playing a turret. You're not a character. You're just a talking turret with a bird. It's stupid.
Just a talking turret bird. You're like the Snoopy of turrets.
Yeah, exactly.
How dare you?
And here's some sad news, because I think all 3 of us were looking forward to it. So South Park: The Fractured Butthole, which had already been delayed twice, has now been delayed, and it was expected to drop this March. It's now been delayed and pushed back all the way to between April 2017 and March 2018.
That's a wide berth.
Yeah. Well, basically, they're just saying it's going to be in that fiscal year, and there's absolutely no new ETA on when it's going to drop. There's apparently tons of problems with the development and things that they want to iron out. So it's already been delayed twice. Now it's been delayed.
Fine. I'd rather them get that out instead of releasing a broken game.
I think a lot of the reason for it last time around, all the delays, was because it's obviously Trey and Matt and the South Park team are really busy, like all year round. So it's hard to get them into the studio and do voiceovers and like do writing and give production notes on what they want done here and there.
Still,
have you ever seen like the documentary about how they make an episode of South Park?
No, totally, and that's why I can totally understand they wouldn't have enough time to fit in a video game, because they are doing that literally all year round.
Yeah. But it sucks because March wasn't that far away, and now it could be at the high end. It could be a year away now, and it's already been delayed. What, like 8 months from when it was originally supposed to come out? So that doesn't bode well.
I mean, it's a wait, but that's one of those games that you want it to nail what it's doing.
Yeah, you don't want it to suck.
Well, I mean, basically, the story and the visuals and everything from the first one were good. It's just they had a kind of half-baked combat system that really needed to be retooled. What else we got here on the list? So, Civ 6 has finally, should have shipped with it, but it's finally got Steam Workshop support for mods built in, which is dope. So you can probably, hopefully get a lot of stuff to make it, worth fighting against the computer. And it adds Australia for the very first time as a DLC civilization, which is cool. You Australia for getting in there before Canada, but whatever.
Would you really consider Australia a civilization? I mean...
Well, America's in there.
Yeah, but America.
Not really civilization, though.
The beacon of civilization. I don't know what you're talking about, Willis.
But Canada better be in there again soon. Or be in there first. I mean, we've never been our own civilization, but now that there's this Steam Workshop support, I'm sure someone will make a mod because modders are good like that.
I really don't mean any offence here. I'm about to ask you a question. I genuinely mean no offence. I'm just absolutely not knowledgeable on the subject, but honestly, what has Canada ever done, like, military-wise, in the history of the world?
World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Korean War.
So they took part in wars that a lot of other massive countries were involved in, but, like, I'm trying to wrap my head around what Canada as a civilization would be. Like, what would the unique units be in Canada?
There would be
the curlers, obviously. There would be Tim Hortons, and then there would be the hockey dragoons.
I'd suspect most of our special...
Pac-Man, who's the like go-to generals?
Well, it depends. It'd probably be a lot of World War I or World War II guys. Because specifically saving UK asses in World War I and World War II, like, we're known for that, and Denmark too. Like, that campaign is what we're really well known for. But
I would love it if they added Canada and Justin Trudeau was the face of Canada in Civ.
Well, I mean, it's basically it'll probably be the same thing they did for for Australia, because Australia's civilization leader was their prime minister during World War I, and I'm pretty sure their special units are from that era as well.
Are there special units convicts? Oh,
I'm pretty sure one of them's I should have brought it up. But Australia's got a couple really sort of famous guys with the super folded hat. Do you play the Battlefield 1 campaign? Really?
You still haven't played Battlefield 1?
No.
You've played...
hi, my name's Kev. I don't want to spend any money, but I also wanted to waste money on one of the greatest games of 2016. All right.
Dave, you played the Aussie part of the Battlefield 1 campaign, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically, the Australian sort of claim to fame in that war, and I think that's the prime minister of the country during that conflict is the one that's the leader in Civ. I wish I had a lot of like famous Canadians off the top of my head from wars to just spout.
Ryan Reynolds.
That was my only question because I genuinely don't know any.
Shania Twain.
My dad listens to the podcast. He'd be pissed because I'm an army brat, but I can't remember any at the top of my head. As
I said, I think your dad should be in it.
Well, we have 3 of the top 20 world's most deadly snipers of all time. One of them's in the top 5, I think. And yeah, one of them is the most decorated Native Canadian soldier, most decorated Native Canadian soldier of all time, and he was like a crazy sniper. And I'm pretty sure he even did all his sniping, most of his sniping without a scope. Although I might be confusing him with that Swedish guy.
Oh, are you thinking about the guy from Finland who used to sit there and like sit with ice in his mouth so he didn't let off any steam when he breathed?
Yeah,
so he could hunt Russians.
Yeah,
I can't remember what that guy's name is.
I was watching this video on snipers, and they were both featured back to back. So anyway, but there's still one of our greatest snipers was this Native Canadian guy. I think during World War I, and he was just a monster with a sniper rifle.
That's cool. I literally just had no idea who has done what in Canada for that kind of thing. So it was interesting to fill that knowledge base in.
Well, most of our because Canada isn't that old a nation, so almost all our stuff were conflicts taking part in things that the Commonwealth was engaged in, right? I think go back as far as like the Boer War, I guess, things like that. Probably.
I remember I was playing games with the
setting
Canadian
fire to the
guy. I can't
White
remember
House.
how we got onto the topic, but it was like, oh yeah, well, what has Canada done militarily in history? And he goes, well, the War of 1812. And I was like, nope, you really can't claim that one.
Well, that one's kind of isn't really worth doing because a lot of the people who fought in that war weren't Canadian. Like, we were part of it, but
it wasn't really Canada then. It was still just British colonies.
Well, there's people who want to think that it was a whole bunch of like hockey players with Canadian flags wrapped around their head that like ran and burnt the White House to the ground.
Then, I was like, you can't really claim that one.
No. It was good, but it wasn't really much of a war, and it wasn't purely a Canadian conflict either. The last thing up on the list is A King's Tale Final Fantasy 15, which is the sort of mini retro beat 'em up game that they released as a pre-order bonus when Final Fantasy 15 came out. Is going to be free for everyone on March 1st on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And it's just a fun little beat 'em up that's, the boys from Final Fantasy 15.
Do you also get to drive in the car?
Nope.
It's a prequel story, actually. It involves
the
what's his face, the king. The king who dies at the start of the game. It's his posse from back in the day.
It's his posse, beforehand. Yeah, but it's still 4 dudes, just, the generation before the 4 dudes you play with in Final Fantasy 15. But it's free, and that's always good. But that is the agenda for episode 127. Kev's got some info.
You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Corellis, Pacman is at Pacman Polar Bear, and Dave is at Dave_BRB. At Big Red Barrel is the one you want to go to primarily, and BigRedBarrel.com, obviously, the website. Big Red Barrel TV is us on YouTube. Go over there and check some of those stuffs out. And Twitch is Big Red Barrel, just twitch.tv/Big Red Barrel.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And if I can get a capture card back, because I lent it out and I can't remember which relative I gave it to, but I'm probably going to get a capture card again and stream some Nintendo Switch content. I don't know if I'll get my Switch on the 3rd. It's probably sometime in that week after, because it drops on Friday. So sometime between that Friday and next Friday, I'll have a Switch, and I'll probably be just streaming Zelda. I don't really think I'm going to pick up anything else, unless I can get talk my way into getting a game package or some sort of DLC pack from our Connect, but it'll probably be Zelda. So I'll probably be streaming that for a little bit. Got some shoutouts to Coives. Man, I know I pronounced it better last time. Coives, Stingo, Munyak Manzi, Ridiculous Hat, and Richard Kirk. And
what is Richard Kirk's new name? Say it.
Captain Kirk?
No, it's Ricardo Kirkabon. Come on.
Oh, see? I totally forgot Ricardo Kirkabon. Do we have any iTunes shoutouts, Dave?
Yes, I don't think this is the word, so I'm just going to spell it. And if it's a word, you guys with your, better educational systems, feel free to let me know. It's HGFEUBVFD.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's not an English word.
The Swedish chef left us a review. It was 5 stars from the United States of America. Thank you very much, good sir. If indeed you are, sir. If not, thank you, madam.
Thank you. And if that is a name, Dave's the one who screwed it up.
Hey. I don't speak whatever language that is. I'm from Texas. I'm a simple man.
Yeah. You're from Texas, so you speak Spanish?
Man, we ain't got no Caburcas over here in Texas.
Yeah. We don't do the Swedish chief.
Anyway, that's been episode 127. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you all on the flip side.
Later.
You and your ears are quite welcome
for the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
to BigRedBarrel.com
for more podcasts,
news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.